I would think he's sort of like Russell Crowe from Beautiful Mind, but in terms of basketball plays.
I'll challenge, that he's has as high a basketball IQ as anyone that's ever played the game.
It's like having Peyton Manning out there as your quarterback.
He's very intelligent. He sees things that a lot of guys don't see. He probably can run every position from defense and offense. He just has that gift.
He really is a basketball genius from that standpoint because he doesn't miss anything. He sees things happening 2 or 3 plays beforehand.
Basketball genius, so says assistant coach. Stephen A., do you think LeBron is the smartest player in the game?
Well, it's difficult for me to say because I certainly don't want to question or impugn the intelligence of a lot of players in this league. I think that Kobe Bryant is a basketball savant. He's brilliant. He's incredibly articulate, but I think that expands far beyond the game of basketball. Kobe is just a highly intelligent brother, period. Chris Paul comes to mind in terms of his intellect on the basketball court. You see what he does and how he runs a team. You look at a lot of these guys. I look at most of the guys on the Spurs as being highly intelligent basketball players. They're not just exceptionally well coached, but they grasp tenor, they grab mood, they grab momentum, they grasp all of those things, and they know the intricacies of the game as well. You can't compete on a very, very high level if you don't understand intellectually how to play the game of basketball. But it is clear that LeBron James is significantly up there because of the game that he brings to the table. He can play 4 different positions, possibly 5 if necessary. There is not a position on the floor that he can't play. You see how talkative he is. And as a result, you quickly recognize that he knows what everybody's responsibility is. And you don't know that if you don't have a high IQ. So I certainly would say that he's up there. I don't know whether it's number 1 or whatever the case may be. But I look at a young coach like Spoelstra, who's a protege of Pat Riley. We all know how much Pat Riley knows about the game of basketball. There's an assistant coach, 2 assistant coaches on the Miami Heat's bench by the name of Ron Rothstein and Bob McAdoo. Skip, you know those guys. You know their reputation in terms of their basketball IQ. And it's off the charts. And then I think about guys like Hubie Brown and Mike Fratello, guys that I know the game of basketball and have forgotten more basketball than most humans would ever know about the game. And they praise LeBron's IQ every chance they get. So when you have that kind of background, those references per se, that can speak eloquently about your greatness upstairs, there's really nothing to question.
Yeah.
It is what it is. He must be great because greatness continues to recognize it.
I am with you on your perspective. It's hard to say he's the smartest player in pro basketball today, but I think he is, Stephen A. And I will give him this. He is a basketball genius. And I've often said he's in that rare echelon as a passer, having basketball vision with Cousy and Magic and Stockton and Nash as a passer. And I realize that the great Kobe Bryant has an extremely high basketball IQ, Stephen A., but it's more within the solo concept than the team concept. It's how to score. It's scoring genius versus team concept genius. And LeBron's team concept vision is a little above Kobe's to me. I do, however, appreciate the fact that you brought up the Spurs, because they have a couple of old guys who have some basketball genius in them, and Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili. I always say, if anybody watches the Spurs night after night the way I do, Ginobili will make one play every night that you'll say, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Some crazy basketball genius kind of play. Now, the problem with Manu is, the next time down the floor, he'll throw it in the 17th row. And you'll say, well, what was that? And Pop will say, get him out of the game. But with LeBron, on consistent basketball IQ, basketball genius, I would have to put him at the top of this list, even though that's a very subjective thing to say.
Well, the one thing that I would say to you is this. Just because you do something or choose not to do something doesn't speak to your level of intellect. It speaks to your willingness to do it. when you ask the question of LeBron's IQ on the basketball court, I will put Kobe in the same instance as anybody playing the game today. I might put him above anybody just because he chooses to be a scoring machine and defers to others to do what they do. Kobe Bryant's not 6'9", 260, okay? So he has to bring a different dimension to the game in order to be effective. He might draw attention, but he has a better perimeter shot. So rather than give it to somebody inside that might miss, why not pull up from three when you have the ability to make it? That doesn't mean he's devoid of the necessary or requisite intelligence. It just means he chooses to do otherwise. When Kobe Bryant, that's one of the reasons Kobe Bryant was so irritated when everybody was so quick to talk about MJ-Kobe comparisons as if there was no comparison. Because what Kobe is saying is he played for the same coach, and I'm not here to question that. I'm not changing the subject. Just stay with me. I'm not trying to say he was making the point that, well, Michael Jordan played for the same coach all of these years in Phil Jackson, while at the same time doing what he did. I had to, and he was always the number one option. Well, initially, for me, it was Shaq. And then ultimately, it was my team. But not before Phil left and Rudy Tomjanovich came, and then after he came and Phil came back, and then he left, and then it was Mike Brown, and then it was Mike D'Antoni, and so I'm a shooting guard, but I'm a point guard, but you need me to rebound one day, assist another, score another, play defense on the opposing team's best player, blah, blah, blah. So he's talking about a multitude of responsibilities that he had. If you take those things into account, you have to have a significantly high level of intellect to be able to do that. And if his intellect is there and LeBron's intellect is there, then I got to go by Kobe, 34, with 17 years in the league, probably having the same level of basketball intellect, if not more so, than LeBron, who's 6 years younger, who's in his 10th year in the league. Either way, you don't lose paying apples and oranges and all of this other stuff. I'm just saying that I can't just look at LeBron and automatically assume his intellect is far superior to everybody else's when I see a guy like a Kobe whose intellect is off the charts as well.
Okay.
It could be all of them. Dwayne Wade is a highly intelligent basketball player.
Okay, but I think you just concluded in your own mind that Kobe's intellect, based on experience, is slightly higher right now than LeBron's.
No, I'm concluding that it's debatable. I don't know. I'm simply saying I can't just shove it aside and dismiss that as a possibility. I can't do that when I've seen the things that Kobe has done throughout his career and the longevity attached to it. I can't do that.
I can. I will. Just because passing the basketball is such an IQ-based gift, and LeBron is a better passer than Kobe. Not to say Kobe isn't a good passer, because he is, and we saw that for a long stretch last year when Kobe Nash, remember that, when he was distributing? But he can't distribute the way LeBron can when LeBron decides to do that.
There's another point that I'd like to ask you before we change the subject, Skip. Kobe is a less willing passer. LeBron is more willing.
That's a good point, though.
But at one time, we all maligned LeBron for being too willing. We wanted him to have a little more Kobe in him.
You're right.
We wanted him to exhibit a bit more selfishness. So which one is it?
Good point, Stephen A.
I didn't. I never said I thought
Yes,
Kobe
you did.
should be more selfish. I mean, sorry, LeBron should be more selfish?
No. You said, you did. You did. Before they won the title, you most certainly did, Skip. Oh, yeah, go back to the videotape, sir.
No.
Yes, you did.
Oh, boy, here we go.
That was you. That was you.
No.
Yes, Skip. Yes, it was you.
No.
I see you frowning, you're connecting your eyebrows. Yes, it was you.
I think you didn't get enough sleep last night on your travel day.
And we leave it there. Coming up next, Hall of Fame